Now on Coast TV News.
A trampoline park and more. The latest state money helping one Millsboro sports complex jump to reality.
Federal lawsuit over voter information, why organizations across Delaware are now getting involved.
Ferry fees, why the Cape May Lewis Ferry is considering increasing the cost to make the trip across the Delaware Bay.
And we may get a break from the extreme cold by going back to normal cold for a couple of days.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
This indoor sports complex soon opening in Millsboro. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with the state of Delaware awarding millions of dollars towards sports tourism.
Let's take a look inside the Game On sports complex on Route 24. One side has trampoline courts, the other is under construction, but will be turf. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Millsboro. Emma, the state just gave that complex $2 million for Phase 2.
Maddie, take a look behind me. This large blue building here, that's Phase 1. The complex says once this opens in a few months, they'll move on to Phase 2, which will include a full turf and hard court spaces for sports like soccer, basketball, pickleball, and field hockey. The Game On Sports Complex sits right on Route 24 near Oak Orchard Road in Millsboro. On the inside, a full trampoline park on one side, and on the other side, under construction turf fields. David Jones, who lives in Millsboro, says his grandchildren will love it.
They're very sports oriented, as is the granddaughter. It makes it an all year round thing that can happen down here. Wintertime, it's anything like this winter. It's been a lot, it's an indoor thing and something for the family to get out and do.
The Delaware Office of Tourism announced awards to 7 sports facilities throughout the state, Game On being one of them. That $2.3 million will help fund Phase 2, which will have more turf and hard court spaces for sports like soccer, field hockey, basketball, and pickleball. The state says sports tourism is a major economic driver here in Delaware. For example, the state says in 2023, 1.1 million people came here for sports, and they spent $231.4 million on other things like hotels, restaurants, and other entertainment. But not everyone is on board. Susan Meyer, who lives right near the complex, is worried about traffic.
Everything is just unbelievable on 24. This is the main corridor, as you would know, from Millsboro proper to get to Rehoboth. And so I'm not in favor.
Some athletes are excited about this new indoor sports complex, but others worry about the impact outside. The complex will also be available for rent for birthday parties or other events. We spoke with the owner today, who says he hopes they'll be open by the end of April. Reporting live here in Millsboro tonight, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
As Emma mentioned, the state awarded money to 7 sports facilities across Delaware. The others in Sussex include $390,000 to the River Soccer Club in Frankfort, $400,000 to the Georgetown Speedway, and $1 million to the Dave Marshall Tennis and Pickleball Courts in Lewis.
In December, the federal government sued Delaware and 22 other states for their voter rolls. That includes information like your social security number, addresses, and driver's license number. The state of Delaware refused. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Georgetown. Brandon, the ACLU of Delaware specifically mentions it's fighting for nonprofits.
Charlie, the ACLU of Delaware is representing La Esperanza. Now, La Esperanza is a nonprofit here in Sussex County with the goal of assisting Latino and immigrant communities. The ACLU of Delaware is also representing the Delaware Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Now, these organizations say they just want to keep private information private and not have the federal government misuse information. The lawsuit demands that Delaware's Special Election Commissioner provide the federal government with the state's entire voter registration. The ACLU says it's government overreach, but the Trump administration says this will make elections, quote, honorable and honest again.
This kind of request has never been made by a Democrat or a Republican in terms of this sweeping request for data. It is something that people on both sides of the aisle should be concerned about, and it cannot become the norm in our country.
Including Delaware, there are 23 states in total being sued by the Department of Justice, a majority of those states being blue, with some what you would call purple states. All 3 states here on the Delmarva Peninsula are being sued. Live in Georgetown, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know who should control sensitive voter data.
I'm curious to see the results on this one. 65% say the federal government, 33% say the state government, 0% say an independent agency, 2% right now say case-by-case basis.
If you haven't voted yet, if you want to vote, go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app.
The Cape May Lewis Ferry could change its fares, raising the in-season car fare anywhere from $3 to $6. Another change would be extending when kids ages 6 to 13 can ride for free. It might be extended to October to May. We spoke with people who are frequent riders of the ferry about all this.
I think they have a big operation there, so hopefully not too expensive. I think that's great, and especially if people that have big families and that, I think that would be super so they can travel.
Organizers say the fare structure is usually changed every other year. DRBA says adopted changes would go into effect before this summer.
But it was another day of weather disruptions for the Cape May Lewis Ferry. The ferry announced all trips were canceled due to the high winds, the wintry weather. The ferry canceled several trips over the past 2 weeks because of ice conditions in the Delaware Bay. And we're taking a live look into Dover right now, and you can see some ice and snow and all sorts of things as we check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams.
So you know what, Charlie and Maddie, everything is context, because think about it. We're going to go back to the normal high and lows for this time of the year. It's probably going to feel like a balmy beach day by the time we start feeling it on Tuesday and Wednesday, because it's been so extremely cold. Now we're at 27 degrees in Milford at this present time. We're dropped to 23. Now we're still in that extreme cold category, just barely kind of getting our heads above water as far as that cold is concerned. But here's where we stand right now. We have no warnings or watches or advisories that are in effect right now. So they've been allowed to expire. So I'm showing you emptiness because that's good news. That being said, we are looking, for example, the wind chill to still stay a little bit active, but tomorrow the winds are coming out of the south. That's going to help us out a whole lot, but it's still going to feel like 20s. And then we'll get a little bit warmer for Wednesday, then the winds will be shifting out of the northwest. We'll go back into the 20s again. And we want to enjoy these next 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, because the temperatures are going to tank once again before the week is over. We'll talk about that in a little more detail coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you guys.
It may be the off-season in Ocean City, but the town is still finding ways to draw in visitors. From sports to convention center events, February shaping up to be a busy month. According to Tom Perlazzo, the director of tourism for Ocean City, all of these additions will help the town economically during the off-season.
Ocean City's evolving in the event space, and I think, people are realizing that, there's 11,000 hotel rooms inside the city, 20,000 short-term rentals. The infrastructure for hosting those kinds of events is in place. It's out of season. The rates are perfect.
Perlazzo says over 50 different unique events are on the table for the months ahead, including an LGPA golf tournament and even a Supergirl Surf Festival. Votes for schools, the 2 districts heading to referendum today.
And we're about to get a bit of relief from the crazy cold, but another blast will be headed our way by the time we get at the end of the work week.
But first, Ghislaine Maxwell refusing to answer every question from Congress today, while lawmakers say they're not done digging. Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Refusing to answer any questions, convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell pleaded the Fifth in a deposition with lawmakers. But the co-conspirator to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein said she could clear President Trump on any wrongdoing if he granted her clemency.
As NBC's Melanie Zanona reports, it's the latest episode in the investigation into the late sex offender that spanned decades and reached 2 continents.
Is to create.
Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell once again at the center of the Epstein investigation, and once again refusing to answer lawmakers' questions. Appearing virtually from prison, Maxwell invoked the Fifth Amendment on every question asked by the House Oversight Committee.
This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators.
She is a monster. She does not care. She has no remorse. She is not seeking to bring about some kind of closure for these women.
Her lawyer says she would answer questions, quote, fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. He also says she can explain why President Trump and former President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Democrats say Maxwell was sending a message.
Her silence can be bought through clemency.
President Trump has not ruled out clemency, and neither man has been accused of wrongdoing related to Epstein. The deposition comes the same day lawmakers reviewed unredacted Epstein files recently released by the Department of Justice. Congress compelled the DOJ to release all its files on Epstein, but it still holds 3 million pages. And in a forceful new ad,
we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Epstein survivors demand Attorney General Pam Bondi turn everything over. The documents reveal the convicted sex offender's relationships with high-powered men, including Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, who had extensive business dealings with Epstein. And the blowback reaching across the pond to Great Britain, where former U.S. Ambassador Peter Mandelson was fired for his friendship with Epstein after his conviction. Prime Minister Keir Starmer now fighting for his job because he appointed Mendelson.
The House Oversight Committee has 5 more depositions scheduled in the Epstein investigation, and that includes later this month with former President Bill Clinton as well as his wife Hillary Clinton. But there is still some disagreement over the format because the Clintons want that hearing to be public. But so far, Chairman James Comer rejecting that idea, insisting that these depositions will be done behind closed doors, but they will be transcribed and videotaped. Melanie Znona, NBC News, Washington.
In our weather center with your full forecast after this.
Last week, we were dealing with extreme cold to the point where even the National Weather Service was saying this is extreme cold here. So this week, when we go back to the normal temperatures we're supposed to have this year, like for Tuesday and Wednesday, it might even feel a little warm to you. Everything, like in life, is context, right? Right. So we're at 29 degrees right now in Rehoboth, and the winds are staying calm. Now, thanks to the calm winds, we will cool off. Temperature is going to drop. There's a little bit of radiational cooling that will occur, but we still have some scattered clouds in place. It's really not full-fledged radiational cooling unless you really have all the clouds out of the way, and then we can drop precipitously then. However, we are going to stay in the 20s. Now, here's a quick look at the live radar. We have a few passing clouds for right now. No precipitation, no big deals happening in the immediate hour, but the overnight lows are going to start tickling the ivories at about, let's say, 20 degrees to 21, generally speaking, for the entire Sussex County area. And then for us along the coast and along Highway 1, about 25 degrees. So we're going to be plenty chilled for a good portion of the night. Now, here's where the normal pendulum swing comes back into play. Winds are out of the south. That helps. And we'll have temperatures in the 40s and 46 in Chincoteague. Man, that's almost going to feel, I don't know, dare I say balmy? And I'm joking because the cold over the weekend was kind of miserable, and I'm trying to put a spin on it that's positive. But yeah, it was like that. But now Tuesday we start off at 25, then we end up in the 40s, and the winds out of the south, that's going to help prop us up nicely. And then we may get a random sprinkle at about 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's going to be rain. We're not worried about it freezing over or anything like that. And then we'll start seeing things thaw out a little bit more for us going into Wednesday, although the winds will pick up out of the northwest. So we'll watch out for that brisk wind. Now, when you take a look at our future gusts, we're looking at Wednesday, about 32 mile per hour winds, then Wednesday afternoon, about 36 mile per hour winds. So Wednesday is going to be warmer in theory and temperature or thermometer wise, but with the winds racing at about 36 to near 40 miles per hour, probably won't feel all that like it. But the temperature trend is looking promising because by the time we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, we're actually going to hit our normal high, which is 47 degrees for this time of the year. And we may clip it up to 48. Now, we'll be okay with our wind chill factor till we get to, let's say, Thursday going to Friday, and we go back into the teens once again. So we crash again by the end of the situation. Now, Sunday we see some scattered showers trying to push through, but we're going to be too warm for it to become an ice situation. And so our future feels like it's going to stay in that range. Now, with our 3-day beach forecast, we're going to go into the 40s and 40s until we drop into the 30s again. Tuesday, Wednesday, 40s and 40s, dropping off again. Rehoboth Beach, hey, we'll peak at about 43 Tuesday, 41 on Wednesday, and then we'll dip to 37 on Thursday. So let's recap our expectations. Cold weather will persist overnight as we drop to probably 18 on average. Tomorrow, more sunshine and a slight relief with 1 degree shy of the norm for this time of the year. And then Wednesday, we're at 47. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Bottom line is, hey, we're going to be okay. Then by Sweetheart Day, we're actually above the norm.
Property owners in the Caesar Rodney School District in Kent County are voting in a referendum. Voters rejected the last attempt to raise taxes in 2023. The last successful referendum in CR passed in 2015. Now, if approved, the measure would raise school taxes by roughly $274 a year for the average home, generating about $6.1 million. District leaders say the funds would go towards school safety, student services, and competitive pay for staff.
Meanwhile, voters in Laurel headed to the polls today for a referendum there that would bring in new operating money for their school district. Supporters say it's needed to keep teachers from leaving and to cover basic school needs. The district says it would be about $171 more a year on average. Opponents say they're feeling a tax burden already, though, and don't want to pay more without seeing stronger results.
Coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night live at 5:45 p.m. Parkside hosting Pocomoke and boys basketball. Then catch the final score at 10:30.
The Olympics are airing and they're only here on Coast TV, so let's take a look at the medal count so far. Italy in the lead, 9 medals in total. Japan a close second with 7. Norway has the most golds so far, 6 medals in total. Don't forget the Winter Olympics run through the 22nd only here on Coast TV. And a programming note for you, we're getting a lot of emails, so please share this with your neighbors, your friends. I would really appreciate it. February 9th through the 20th, you can watch Jeopardy on Fox 21, 7:30 p.m. It is the same exact show, same exact time, just a different channel while the Olympics are airing.
Coming up, an effort to bring a historic steam locomotive to Lewis, part of the Lewis Rail Heritage. What enthusiasts need to do to make it happen. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5. And the Lewis Junction Railroad Bridge Association has launched a community fundraising campaign aimed at bringing a historic steam locomotive back to the city. The effort, called Bring 60 for 250, with the goal of raising money to relocate and install a 1913 Pennsylvania Railroad steam locomotive at Lewis Junction. The engine would join the existing rail display near the Lewis Public Library and the Rollins History Museum. SAG-AFTRA contract negotiations start today. For the first time since 2023, Hollywood strikes. The talks are with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Now, the current agreement between that group and the Actors Union expires at the end of June. That contract was the result of a 118-day strike. SAG-AFTRA's president says artificial intelligence, streaming, and emerging technology remain important issues to the union.
Lyft is rolling out a new ride-sharing option for teens. This is kind of cool. Lyft Teen will provide teens with a safe and affordable way for parents to get their kids from point A to point B, the company says. Lyft says only drivers who meet the highest standards with background checks, safe driving records, and positive feedback will be allowed to drive those teens, and only verified Lyft accounts will be able to create teen profiles, and parents will be able to track their teen's location live. Speaking of live, a live look outside into Lewis. One more check on your forecast after this.
Right now in Cambridge, we're holding at 29 degrees actually, and we're going to drop to 23 by 9 o'clock. We're looking pretty clear right now with our live radar, and we're generally staying quiet for tonight. A few scattered clouds here and there. Our umbrella giveaway winner is John Barrett of Ocean View. Congratulations. Courtesy of Paul Davis, property restoration experts. Keep up with your forecast, our 24-hour, 7 days a week line. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Your forecast is just a call away. The number to call is 443-880-9100. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Listen, Tuesday and Wednesday, that's actually where we're supposed to be for this time of the year. Imagine that. But then if we start tanking again Thursday and Friday, but just in time for Thanksgiving. I'm hungry. I'm obviously hungry. For Valentine's Day, we warm up nicely.
But you know what? 39 is going to be great compared to what we've had. And thank you for joining us here at 5.
For more news, more local weather, mashed potatoes, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
We'll see you later on Coast TV News at 6.